Bitcoin's price structure. Let's break it down. Let's see what it's telling us. Let's look at the bigger picture, the smaller picture, what we can be realistically looking forward, in my opinion, and how can we take advantage of the Bitcoin chart now and soon enough once we finally get some more consolidation in the price. So let's go ahead and get started. So, quick thing, I just want to go over some articles that I found on Google about Bitcoin. There is a lot of inflows coming in, and I know that, for example, you guys already know there's a lot of like targets for like 200k Bitcoin and around there. I know Plan B Bitcoin has so far an average sort of top of 500,000, so we'll see how that goes as well. I'm very optimistic to see how it unfolds. But basically, we also have MicroStrategy, or now it's called just Strategy, offering another $200 million of preferred stock to buy more Bitcoin. Now, we're not going to talk about Strategy. Instead, we're just going to understand that every time they do these offers of their preferred stock, we see them actually go ahead and buy Bitcoin with it. So at the end of the day, regardless of anyone's opinion on that stock, and rather it's a good one or a bad one, it's still $250 million that's going to flow into Bitcoin soon enough. So there is a lot of adoption still happening outside of that company as well. But let's understand the bigger picture on Bitcoin. I'm going to use a 2024 example that I covered multiple times, and I also covered it live as the price structure was unfolding last year. But we've had 3 deep value dips in Bitcoin during the time. The price doesn't matter because we're at a different price now, but then we had a rally, very nice consistent rally that ended up breaking previous resistances before finding a top, and then having this wave structure that looks like this, where we see a 3-wave move, and then in the smaller pictures too, there's sort of this like first, second, and third wave down, and then super shallow corrective rally, and then we continue on and make a proper retracement. And this time the price did dip below the 0.5 retracement. At the time it was 59,400, so we had a proper correction, a proper retracement to balance out the price before it goes much higher. And I'm expecting something like that to be unfolding now, because what we have is 3 deep value dips below 80k. Really amazing deal. And we end up breaking out of it with a very consistent rally that breaks a lot of previous resistances. So a lot of these resistances have been broken. Quite incredible price action, and I hope you guys have been accumulating when Bitcoin was well below 100k, especially well below 90, and even when it was slightly below 80. Because if you guys believe in it, there's no reason not to take advantage of it, in my opinion. But regardless of that, what I want to talk about now is this correction, because we do have this 3-wave move down, and in the smaller pictures, it's the same thing where we see smaller structured 3-wave moves before the corrective rally, and then we have another dip coming down. Now, the reason this is very interesting is because I'm not going to focus too much on the mic is still working. So I'm not going to focus too much on the super small pictures of this wave. I'm going to focus on the overall wave down. So for those of you that really like Elliott waves, it's a really great way of looking at it. I know right now in Mara stock, you can use Elliott waves quite easily as well. I used to use Elliott waves a lot last year, and I sort of stopped, mainly because I was focusing more on price value levels than Elliott waves himself. But now, if you guys still want to know what that looks like, it's a 3-wave move down. But then if you're looking for an overall more aggressive correction, then it's first, second, third, which comes into the extension area for the bearish move quite well. We're having this corrective move up, which did break over the 0.35 retracement over 106,000. Super shallow, but there is enough momentum currently due to and then of course it will be first, second, third, fourth potentially in, but it looks like we can still move a little bit higher. There's also some imbalance up here that hasn't been filled, so this may allow the price potentially to go into the more premium section before coming down lower. So basically what this is then it's the corrective wave up, and then finishing the last final wave much lower. So the way that would look like is, so far, since we do have this smaller picture, higher high and a higher low, what we can do to then prepare ourselves properly is we can consider so far what the move is. So we have a first, second, overall, third down. Um, of course, this can be interpreted in so many different ways, but I'm just giving you guys a super general one. So far, where the price has topped within this yellow, it shows that there is enough momentum to finish a final wave down in the purple area, but at the same time, also mixing with that 0.5 retracement and entering the discounted portion of this bigger picture retracement area, so we can have a very nice overall picture higher low, an actual proper correction higher low, and then making a new high, new all-time high, and then stretching the price much higher, incredibly higher, just like we saw here when we had that correction, proper correction confirmed, and then we went up, broke the previous overall resistance, and then incredible rally much higher. And I'm actually expecting something like that, and that's just my own opinion, but that's how I'm approaching this asset specifically. Now, this area can be different. Now, the reason I'm not overly, relying on this is because as we move higher, if the price ends up trying to reach, the more premium section and a retracement before coming down lower, it raises this area too much, which tells me that, there's so many different ways of structuring your Elliott waves. There's so many different ways of, looking at price structure. So I'm still going to continue on value levels, just because it's a little bit more easier for me to understand right now, because what we have right now, and this is how I'm personally taking advantage of this as well. I am currently holding onto a small long position that I accumulated within this red area actually today, because I saw the price made in the smaller picture this higher low, and then I eventually saw it make a higher high in the smaller picture, telling me that, hey, when we pull back, it may be a good idea to see if volume's going to weaken and where the RSI is at if we try to retest this previous low. I did buy into it, and now the price is much higher, so we got to see. And if you guys want to see what that position looks like, just message me on social medias or on the Discord. Now I'll send you a screenshot. It really doesn't matter. I don't want to edit it into here, but I'll send you guys a screenshot of the transaction, what that looks like, so you can see the actual price I bought at, if you guys care. But basically, you guys know how I feel about retracement and extension areas being tested. Now, this is just a measurement tool, but when I see these areas being tested, especially when they are involving an overall bigger picture, I like to see these fib areas get filled a bit more aggressively. So right now, what I'm looking at and how I am managing my own trades, at least this super small, short-term trade, just to capture the maxing out of this retracement area. This is the retracement for this move up, where we have the higher low right here that's retesting a previous swing low. So what this tells me is if the price breaks below the 0.5 retracement at 105,133, to me it looks like we're going to be trading below the 120 moving average, and we're going to continue the momentum just like we've seen here, where we're over the 120 moving average. We finally break below it. When we go ahead and retest it, we break over a little bit right here, and then we continue down to finish this wave down right before the corrective rally. So that's something that we can be looking at right here, where this can just be a super shallow, correction, and then, news media or macroeconomics or whatever it's going to be can pull it down. And we know there's a lot of headlines coming up soon, so we got to keep an eye on that. But how I'm taking advantage of this is I'm using this swing low as an actual stop loss, because I am still convinced as of right now that we can be trading within this purple area quite soon. And the purpose of setting the stop loss here is we can still max out this red area very easily and then open the pathway up to the purple. So I want to get out sooner rather than later. This will be, I'm actually up quite a bit in extended hours. So if it comes down, hits my stop loss, I really won't lose anything. But I want to conserve capital so that I can deploy that capital more efficiently in a much more deeper value area down there. And that's what I'm going for. Now, to sell, basically, I just want to see this area get, pushed higher. So it can be as simple as just using the retracement itself to find a sell point, or it can be using the structure itself. So from down here up to here, and then down to the overall higher low, and that shows that we can still come up into this area and try to find resistance before we come down lower. Now, the thing about this though is that we still have the original previous all-time high in blue in this area, and this can also act as a very nice area to come up and try to use it as a retracement or a resistance. But regardless, I'm not trying to be super hopeful or greedy and trying to max out, how high the price can go. If my intention is to trade short term, at least with this specific portfolio, trade short term, then I'm going to sell wherever my sell areas are. And to me right now, regardless of, bullish momentum in the bigger picture, I know a proper retracement is still possible. We do not have confirmation just yet that we would not be going lower. And therefore, I'm not going to be hopeful, and I'm going to start using this blue area. So basically, halfway around 108,000, I want to sell out of short-term positions, lock in profit. If the price goes higher, cool. We can start looking for any weakness to potentially take shorts, or just find a top and then finally start coming down lower. But if we do break over this and there is actual new signs that, hey, the bottom is in, which in my opinion is much less likely, but if the bottom is in, we'll start seeing signs about that, and I'll tell you guys what the signs are when if it happens. But I'm not going to worry about it too much in this video, because again, we just don't have short-term bullish confirmation just yet. Overall, we have micro bullish confirmation with a potential break of structure down here if this were to happen. But this is just short-term picture, and my overall view is down here. So if you guys are curious, I can keep you guys updated on this position in the Discord if you just ask for it. But let's see if we can come down into this area and have a much better buying opportunity. So overall picture, bearish, super small picture. We still have potentially, we're at support. We can maybe come down a little bit more, try to hit the 120 moving average, just dip down a little bit lower. But we are technically at support, and I want to see if the price can come up here for resistance so we can sell, and then let the bearish momentum continue forward as it may. And of course, overall resistance, which Bitcoin likes to respect these trend lines quite well. We can see that this area is a pretty good early indication that, hey, we gotta be a little bit more cautious on our position sizing if you guys are long, in my opinion, because there's a lot of reasons to still, why not take advantage of short-term bullishness, but overall know the caution signs for the price to come down lower, and then take advantage of better deals once we finally complete this correction. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.